Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Monday Night Must See TV with the Hudson Valley Squares. Before we divulge the topic for tonight, let's introduce the crew. I was going to say the queue that's in the crew that's in the queue. We've got Spaghetti Lee joining us tonight. We've got Butch Jones. We've got our center square, Mr. Chris Allo. We've got Lynn Versace. We've got the Cans himself, Chris Canzaneri, and Steve Keeler from Rock Fantasy. So, 1992, 30 years, celebrating some great albums from 1992. We're going to do an album war once again tonight. And tonight, the two combatants, the two participants will be Countdown to Extinction from Megadeth going up against Vulgar Display of Power from the mighty Pantera, both celebrating their 30th birthdays this year in 2022. So Mr. Spaghetti Lee is going to go first. He's going to talk about both of these albums and let us know which ones he prefers. Let me get my scorecard out. Go for it.
Well, 1992, I had already begun to start to steer away from metal. I had seen the Monsters of Rock tour with Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, and then unknown Alice in Chains at Madison Square Garden, and sort of started to kind of veer away from underground metal, crossover punk, hardcore stuff that I was into. And this may seem like a heavy metal betrayal, but at 1992, I was full-blown Deadhead. Full-blown, touring,
I'm sorry.
crazy, Grateful Dead, Fish, full-blown Deadhead. So all my metal credibility right down the toilet.
Oh,
I could smell the patchouli from here.
It's on my metal wristband. Here's on my stained glass Jerry that I have right here. Here's my stained glass Jerry.
that's interesting.
Nice. So I had to play catch up on these records. The first couple of Megadeth albums, Killing's My Business and Peace Sells, I had heard them as they came out in real time and liked them both. They were not my favorite compared to what else was out there. Slayer in particular was my favorite of the whole bunch. And I think Metallica stuff after Master kind of was not happy with Justice, and Megadeth I kind of was not my favorite of the big four. So I kind of really wasn't all that crazy. I found Mustaine's vocals to be a little whiny. So I did not hear this record. I had to play catch up in the early 2000s when I revisited metal, and I came back to my senses and got off the road with the Dead and the Fish. And I started to go back and realized that I had missed a whole bunch of cool stuff, and I played catch up. And that's where I found Pantera. So I was playing catch up for a while. After listening to, we'll start with Megadeth. This record, I liked it a lot. I can't say I was familiar with a couple of tunes. When we got this assignment, I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to basically discover this Megadeth album. And I really, really enjoyed it. I got to say, comparatively, compared to the few that came before, I liked it. I think it's equally as good as the other ones. The latter part of Megadeth's catalog, I really am unfamiliar with. But I'm still catching up. I will catch up. I really liked this record. I had not heard too much of it besides, I think, Symphony for Destruction and Symphony of Destruction and Countdown to Extinction were really the only tracks that I had kind of heard before. And listening to this album all the way through, I really liked it. I think the production is excellent. The guitar solos are amazing. Dave is not as whiny. Dare I say, I think they matured a little bit from the first couple of albums. And I really, really like this record. I'm surprised that I missed it, honestly. I shouldn't be playing catch up on it now. I should have, there's things, even old things for me to discover because of my long, strange trip on the road with the jam bands. So, I mean, if I have to pick a couple, look, I liked the album all the way through. I found this record to be very consistent, song to song, really cool, but not in a boring way. They all sort of complemented each other, and I really, really liked it. Some of my favorite tracks, it's hard for me to pick favorites, but I'll just say what stood out, Foreclosure of a Dream it had a really interesting acoustic intro. I thought that was pretty daring of them to do that, and I think he did it well. It's actually a nice little riff there. The next track, Sweating Bullets, had a nice narrative where he talked in the beginning of it, and it, dare I say, had like a blues groove on it, which surprised me, and it was a pleasant surprise. I really liked it, but I think Symphony for Destruction would be my favorite. So my favorite 3 songs are Symphony for Destruction, Foreclosure of a Dream, and Sweating Bullets. Psychotron is really, really cool. I thought it had some hardcore breakdowns on it.
My favorite song on the record.
Yeah, it really should be mine, but I was I thought the surprise element of what was on those other tracks kind of like gave me like an added, if you ask me in 20 minutes, I could change my picks on this one. That's how pretty
I think
consistent.
you'll still be going in 20 minutes. Listen, let's fucking wrap this up, son.
He hasn't even
We got
got
shit
the
to do.
Pantera yet.
I'm cracking up because he kept saying,
All
I
right.
like it. I'm like, what is he, fucking Mikey? He liked it? Like the
Let's
series.
go.
All
I
right.
just saw the
All
Batman.
right.
That was 3 fucking
Okay,
hours.
all
Let's
right,
not
those
do
are
the
my
same
3
thing
songs.
here.
All right, so quickly the Pantera, moving on. Quickly the Pantera, I like. I want to say one thing that I did for the first time that I usually don't do too much is I generally don't pay too much attention in metal, in thrash metal, to the guitar solos. But since everybody talks so highly of Dave Mustaine and Dimebag, when I listened to these records this time around with the reviewer's ear taking notes, I listened very carefully to these guitar solos.
Well, you left
And
out
both
somebody.
Dime-
Then, well, hold on. If you were listening really closely to the guitar solos, you left out the lead guitar player in Megadeth.
Oh, Friedman. Okay, I know. It's cool. I liked the guitar solos on both of these albums, and I have to say I give Dime just the edge because of his tone. I like it a little better. I know that's going to probably start a war in the comment section, but all right. So I'll move along. My favorite tracks on Vulgar are Effing Hostile. It's just totally straight thrash, got that killer skippity riff in it. It's got just classic thrash, and I like just classic thrash. And then the first 2 tracks on the album, Mouth for War and New Level. I like the way this album opens up with a groove. I'm not afraid to hear groove in metal. I kind of like a groove. And New Level's got kind of a good classic metal vibe in the middle. It's got the old Judas Priest chugga chugga. If I had to pick a winner, I'm going to go Pantera, Vulgar, only because I know it better. I mean, honestly, ask me in a week, it may change, but that's tonight, just for the sake of being expeditious. Pantera for the win.
All righty. 1-0.
1 to the goose.
And I just want to add, because I'm sure someone's going to comment, Spaghetti, that tour you saw was not the Monsters of Rock tour. That was the Clash of the Titans tour.
I'm sorry.
And that was
Clash
not
of the
in
Titans.
1992.
Correct.
That was in 1991.
91.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
June 1991.
I'm sorry.
It's
Very
okay by
memorable.
me, but I know someone is going to
Oh, yeah.
jump on you in the comments.
All right.
That
I
happened.
got you. Were you there? Anybody there? They see the
Yeah, I
seats
saw
getting
them,
ripped out? The
So at
seats.
Orange County.
I saw them at
Yeah.
Orange County,
worked-
in the Garden, and at the what's that place in Connecticut? Lake Compounds.
Like compounds. Wow.
Yeah, it was like Playland, but in Connecticut.
Still is.
Yeah, it's an
Oh,
amusement
wow.
park.
Had like
I
a
didn't
little
know they did
area.
metal shows there.
Yeah,
That's
and
a good
it was
idea.
just a
They
joke.
used
It'd be
to.
like,
They
oh,
are.
I saw Slayer here, and people would be like, get out of here. I'm like, no, seriously, I saw Slayer in this.
Well, it was
That's
91.
up by Waterbury,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
But
It's a
I
cool
saw
place.
the tour at Orange County Fair Speedway. like,
yeah, I saw it at
but-
Orange County also, and the Garden too. Yeah,
By the way, them ripping up the seats in the Garden, that extended to the railroad, Long Island Railroad home. It was just a seat
Wow.
cushion fight. And yeah, the Garden did not like hosting metal much after that.
We'll never see metal at this place ever again. Yeah, we heard that once before, right?
True.
All right, Butch.
The saviors of 90s metal.
Yes.
Pantera.
Well said.
Tremendous record. Produced by probably my second favorite producer, well, maybe even my favorite producer of the 90s in particular, Terry Date. because Terry Date has a run of tremendous sounding records, from Prong, all the Pantera stuff, just awesome. And it's Dime, Dimebag. What can you say? Like I said, he was the complete savior of 90s metal. Out of all of the people that I've been very fortunate enough to meet, and to some of them to become friends with and still friends with, Dime was one of a kind, man. Everything that anyone, for people that never got a chance to meet him, anything you've ever read about him, it's all true. He was a life of the party. He was just a great guy, and him being a great guy made you want to like Pantera even more. But this record is just a tour de force, as they say. Everybody knows, the walk is an anthem at this point. Everyone knows that. It's just No Good, A New Level, just song after song. Rise by Demons is just a tremendous fucking record. It's just fierce from the moment you drop the needle, even though this is a CD. But as soon as it starts to the end, it just demolishes across the board. Megadeth had their greatest success in the 90s, coming off of the album before this, which is Rust in Peace, which is absolutely, as far as I'm concerned, their opus record is just tremendous. But this is the album that really put them on the map. This was the MTV record. There was videos all over the place. For like Spaghetti was saying, Symphony of Destruction was on MTV all the time. Which was great. It was great to see metal on MTV. And this is produced by my favorite producer, Max Norman. So you can never go wrong with anything Max Norman does. And this is just a tremendous record. So Skin of My Teeth, Architect of Progression. Jesus Christ, that song, I already said Psychotron is probably my favorite song on that record. Ashes in Mouth. It's one song after the other, and as much as it was slightly commercial, it was a heavy commercial. So it wasn't like a selling out like Metallica, like we all say about Metallica. And even having said that, the Black Album is still tremendous. I don't give a shit. Yeah, they had a big song that made them who they were, but all in all, that record is a solid record too. But this record, man, Countdown is just a great record. And Marty Friedman. So the as far as I'm concerned, the greatest, besides Dan Spitz of the old Anthrax, Marty Friedman is the greatest thrash lead guitar player ever. He's just tremendous. And he continues what he started on Rust in Peace on Countdown. So they're both, you can't go wrong either way. But there is no doubt in my mind that it's Dime time. You can't. I mean, everything that band, Pantera was not supposed to be anything other than just a club band, I guess, for the groove that they brought to metal that wasn't there before. The aggression of Dime's guitar tone, his style of playing, and Salmo trying to be Henry Rollins and bringing that element into it. There were so many things that should have not made that band who they were, but they said, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway. And like I said, anyone that grew up with these two records remembers what was going on at that time. It was the tide of change was coming, and actually by 92, it had already hit. But those two records in particular stayed above that tidal wave of Nirvana that came and leveled a lot of things. And these two records are both really important. But yeah, for me, it's as much as I love Countdown, it's a great fucking record. You can't fuck with Dime. That's as far as I'm concerned. That's it. Terry Date's production on that record is, man, it started a trend. I mean, think of how many drums started doing trigger drums after that. They had that Vinnie Paul kick sound. So yeah, no doubt, Vulgar display of power for me.
All righty, 2-0 Pantera. Our center square, Mr. Allo.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I went through my collection and I found 2 copies of Countdown to Extinction, and then I found 3 copies of Vulgar Display of Power,
Pantera
yeah,
must be the winner.
Are they
then.
all the same or?
I have that's my question. Are they the same or there's difference?
these two are different. This is the remix
Remaster?
one, which I remember a lot of people shit on at the
I
time.
don't like it either. It doesn't sound
This
right.
one is
What, the
the
2000 remix?
I don't
I
know what
haven't.
year
I
this
don't even know
was.
what year it is.
It has a bunch of bonus tracks.
Yeah.
It's I got the olds. I can't see the copyright, but maybe it's 2000. It probably is.
I think it's later than that. It's
you're probably right, Butch.
there's a lot of reverb on it. It doesn't. It's if you listen to them both, man, the original sounds so much better.
Yeah, I think he remixed all of them at the time. Didn't?
Yeah, because I've got them all. When you put all the CDs next to each other, the spines, they all make Vic's face.
Oh yeah,
They
you're
make Vic
right.
Metalhead's face when you put it all
Oh.
together.
Yeah, at the
Maiden
time,
did that. Yeah.
at the
Yeah, Maiden
time
did that
I was doing a lot of magazine stuff for like Metal Edge and Circus. So the label sent me all of these, but yeah, I remember a lot of people shitting on the sound of them. So I would like to go back and listen to them. This Pantera one is one that has a DVD
Oh,
live
nice.
in Italy.
Oh yeah. Didn't they
And-
add a song called "Piss" on it?
Yes, right. That's right. And there's a bonus track called Piss. And then I somehow wound up with just 2 copies of the regular version. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Pete, sometimes these things happen.
Uh.
But
I like how you
yeah, I
frame
think,
that. It's like, and I just wound up with 2. It's almost like you should have.
I don't know. Listen, it happens all the time. But yeah, I thought both records were really good. I would definitely agree with some of the stuff that Butch said and what Spaghetti said. Yeah, this is definitely a more mature Megadeth album. So at the time, I still liked it, but as a fan of theirs from early on, I kind of felt that, well, maybe they're not selling out, but boy, they're swimming in those waters. They're chasing after the Metallica money. But I did like this record. I saw them on this tour with Suicidal Tendencies in '92,
Yep.
and I saw Pantera on this tour with Skid Row.
Wow.
Sure, Rich Catino's got a lady boner just hearing Skid Row's name.
Skid Row was
yeah.
killer then.
Yeah, Skid Row, they were pretty good, and I think they didn't Phil and Dimebag came out and did Cold Gin with Pantera. I think
At the Civic Center.
I saw it at the Felt Forum,
Oh, okay. I
which
wouldn't
I
have
think
that one.
was used to be called at the time was the Paramount. Like somebody was saying earlier, the name changes.
Yeah.
God only knows. But yeah, both records I think are really good. But for me, what it came down to it, there's one song on here that I actually absolutely fucking hate. And I actually messaged Pete earlier today. And I was like, hey, why don't we do a show where we talk about like bands we love that have songs we hate? And Pete was like, wow, you're reading my mind, because that was a topic for a future episode. And even though I like both of these records, and even though I really like Megadeth, I fucking hate that song, Sweating Bullets. Like, I don't know how anybody likes that song. Like, every time I hear that song in my head, I'm like, I could see Dave Mustaine with a top hat and a tuxedo and a cane doing like a jig up and down, being paranoid. I'm like, what?
Like putting on
Because
the
How
it
is
was
this?
visual. So the video
How is this a
ruined
fucking
it.
from a
The
thrash band?
video ruined it.
Yeah, fuck. I mean, I hate the video too, but I absolutely hate the song. Every time I see them and they don't do Sweating Bullets, I'm thrilled. Just like every time I see Iron Maiden and they don't do Can I Play with Madness, I'm thrilled. So since
That I agree with. That one I agree with.
I
Not the
hate that one.
Megadeth, but Maiden, absolutely.
anyway, so between those two, yeah, that's my real black mark between the two of them. Plus, yeah, this was Megadeth getting a little softer. Like I
Yep.
said, swimming after the Metallica money. And yeah, this was really just super groundbreaking for its time. And absolutely, like Butch said, man, this is really is so bizarre that metal fucking died a horrible death, but yet Pantera were selling tons of records, tons of t-shirts, and tons of concert tickets. I remember like fucking Rock Fantasy would open at like midnight when they would do a Pantera release. And I'm like, right, Steve, you couldn't give away fucking Slayer CDs in 1995, but Steve Keeler's opening at midnight to sell copies of Pantera. Nuts. So, yeah.
Pantera took the mainstream heavy edge of metal and put it on their back and carried it.
Right. It was
yeah.
so
The
crazy.
world
So,
needed Pantera at the
Yep.
time.
No,
That's-
it's-
Became,
Absolutely.
opening band
The
to
world needs
headlining
fans.
arenas in the 90s, of course.
right. So for all that, yeah, I'm going with Pantera. That's my pick.
all right. 3-0. All right, Lynn. What say you?
All right, so I have to echo what Butch says. I fucking agree. Can you? I might have a heart attack.
Write it down, Pete.
Wow, that's a
Jot that
special
down.
note for today. Lynn and Butch agree on something. All right, good. No fight today. Very good.
I'm serious. I'm like, holy shit.
Unless you were
everything
here
he
before we went
said-
live. So, you know,
Well, no, they didn't hear before we
I
went
know
live.
that.
But either way, no, I really echo everything he said because everything he said is everything I was going to say, except he knows me and I am a dick and I did Wikipedia some shit just because I like to know some information, which, yeah, okay, both records were double platinum, whatever. That's cool. But I did not know that, I guess the drink Blacktooth Grin, I didn't know was on the Megadeth tour with them and it comes off Sweating Bullets fucking song.
Yeah.
So I actually want to make that drink now when I bartend, right? It's Seagram's and
Royal.
Crown Royal and a splash of Pepsi, little splash of Pepsi,
A
but
splash of Coke.
yeah, Pepsi, Coke, fucking Laverne, Shirley, I don't know, whatever. Boo Boo Kitty, whatever.
Squiggy.
I think it has to be Coca-Cola.
Yes, there has to be a Coke.
But I just thought that was kind of cool. Like Dime's Blacktooth Grin was, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool. But either
Yep.
way, I also didn't know, which I'm sure Butch knows because he knows fucking everything, right? And so does Chris. And I mean that sincerely.
That the
but
brothers
the-
were almost in Megadeth.
I was
No,
waiting
no.
for it.
The title of the album
Please,
was
Dime.
from a line in The Exorcist. Vulgar Display of Power. I assume
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys knew.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie.
Oh, it's
What?
19. It's
Wow.
you never saw The Exorcist.
Wow.
All right, I'm coming over. We're watching
You
it.
need to
That
rectify
and
that,
Jaws.
my
Chris
friend.
Chris is about
And that's
to
what I was
explode.
just going to say. Jesus,
Jaws.
that's like the ultimate 70s double feature.
Yeah.
Jaws and The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
Oh,
are you
yeah.
going to say that you also haven't seen Star Wars and Rocky and The Godfather?
I just saw The Godfather not that long ago for the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. But he has seen Debbie Does Dallas. Go figure. I mean,
I haven't seen that
All right,
either.
I said that was 70s.
I'm
I haven't
just
seen
saying.
that either.
But I did not know that the title of that album was taken from a line in The Exorcist, which I get.
I
I
didn't know
thought
that
was
either.
great.
Butch
And I'm not.
hasn't seen Grease, right?
Which
That
one?
was another big
Grease.
70s.
Nope.
You didn't
Saturday
see
Night
Grease
Fever?
either?
I've seen some of that.
Saturday
Oh
Night Fever.
God.
Raiders of the Lost Ark?
No,
That was
'cause there's
80s, though.
snakes
That
in
was
it.
80s.
Yeah, true.
We
Yeah.
gotta-
Butch,
Cool.
Butch doesn't watch many movies in the 70s.
He doesn't
I
like
watched
the
lots of
blockbusters.
movies, just not those.
He stays
What
away
What
from
about car?
blockbusters.
What about
They're
Car
not
Wash?
English. They're not
Car Wash
English.
I've seen.
Car
Car
Wash.
Wash.
There we go.
That's
Franklin
funny.
Ajay.
Nice. But I'm actually happy to say that I actually have a pair of Vinnie Paul's drumsticks.
Nice.
I
Nice.
think, so that makes me very happy. But you know what? Like Megadeth,
You should have brought your props today, Lynn.
you know
Now
what?
that you said it, I should have brought my. I have dime picks.
I have dime picks too, but I was a fucking lazy. Not that I was lazy. I was really busy all day working 2 jobs and blah, blah, blah. Either way, the Megadeth record, I love it. I do love it. I love Dave's vocals on this record. I know he's whiny, but I think this is some of his best vocal work personally for me. I love every song on there. I love Sweating Bullets. I love Foreclosure of Dream, Psychotron, Captive Honor. Like I love Ashes in Your Mouth. I love those tunes. Fucking Pantera, you put it on from the minute, like you said, the minute you put the fucking needle down, because I really did put the needle down because I'm old. From the minute till the end, it's just fucking one after the other. It's insane. You literally get so angry that you just want to throw people around.
But
And
it's a happy angry though.
Yeah.
it's a happy angry, but like back when we went to those shows, people they were jumping off balconies. The pits were fucking insane. You go to shows today, the pits are like, dude, like
The
I
dad
feel like
pit. I saw a
not-
dad
Depends-
pit.
I think it depends what
Oh,
show.
don't-
I bet it's some pretty brutal pits in the last few
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
Lynn.
Yeah, the pits
but
now are
not-
steel.
not
Oh, I'm
back-
sorry. Excuse
yeah,
me.
not like back in the day, but
Dad
either
pit.
way, the way By Demons Be Driven, like the way that opens is fucking insane. Hollow, I can't listen to Hollow without crying. I definitely get teary-eyed. His voice is sexy, yet it's raw and powerful. So I don't know. Some people may say Countdown might have more hits, so to speak, or
It
whatever. But
does.
yeah. So but some of Dave's best vocals, right? Nick Menz's killer drum tracks, all fucking great, all great. But the guitar vocals of fucking Anselmo, pounding drums of Vinny, and fucking Dime's tone makes it impossible to pick Megadeth. So Pantera for the win.
All right. 4-0.
But yeah, I thought Lynn was totally going to talk about Dimebag almost joining Megadeth, but yeah, he wouldn't go without Vinny.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think that we could have had half of Pantera in Megadeth. And I forget, right? Because Butch wasn't the deal was Mustaine already had a drummer, and he's like, "Look, dude, I'd love to take your brother, but I already got," and I can't remember which exactly drummer it was.
I don't remember who it was either, but yeah, that was it. Yeah, and Dime said, "I'm not going to go unless my brother comes."
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
probably
could you
wouldn't
imagine?
work
I
out
don't
in the
think that
long
would have
run
worked
anyway.
well.
Yeah, not in the
Probably
long
not.
run. No.
Yeah.
Funny. I did have that on my notes, but I just figured we want to move on with the night. So
Mega Dave is too Mega Dave, and Dime was a guy of the people, and and those two guys in the same band, and maybe it could have worked because Dime would have just done his thing, and Dave would have just been whatever. But Dime was just too much, man. He was such a great fucking guy.
good guy.
It would have been cool to hear some. I wish they had gotten to the point where he had actually joined or rehearsed with them to hear some stuff. That would have been really cool to hear.
All right. 4-0. Lynn, next time bring your props. That would have been cool to see.
No, if I had time, I would have brought my.
Yeah, you don't have the
props.
Chris Allo excuse. You don't have a garage to go sift through. You just have it in the next room, probably, right?
Oh no, you don't even want to see my fucking house.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to see my garage.
All right, 4-0. Cans, what do you got?
All right. Well, at the time that these albums came out, my entire music collection that I had access to was composed of probably 10 cassette tapes. I was in the Coast Guard at the time and living in a Navy barracks. Everything I owned I could fit in my car, and some shithead had stolen my stereo and all my CDs. So I started rebuilding my collection, and one of the first things I had gotten was Rust in Peace, and I played the living shit out of that album. And to me, that is absolutely perfect. So Countdown was a disappointment to me.
Really?
Yeah. There just weren't all those great breakdowns and all those outro jams where they just really settled in and started killing. It wasn't the same to me. Not that I disliked it, and I had to listen to it a lot since I had 10 fucking cassette tapes in my hand. So, I had listened to both. I really preferred Rust in Peace. I liked Countdown. And I had another album by a band called Agnostic Front, and they had put out this album called One Voice, which was like a concept album about the Attica prison riots or whatever. But I remember thinking, I'm like, this is the most aggressive album I've got. This is so tough. And then I went and picked up Pantera, knowing nothing about them, and put that on. I'm like, oh, gee, okay, all right. This is what you define as aggressive. And I mean, it blew my mind. And I felt like Megadeth, Countdown is more commercial. They're chasing the Metallica money, like everybody said. And at the time, I had read an article when all the grunge stuff was going down, and this guy's like, listen, you should listen to Alice in Chains, and if you don't like it, too bad, but this is what heavy metal sounds like now. And once I heard Pantera, I was like, no, this is what metal sounds like now. So, and I went back and re-listened to both of them, and I like Countdown a lot more than I remembered, because I hadn't stuck with that album.
It is heavy, though. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not Rust in Peace, which is, like you said, is perfect. But to me, for them, that's 1A, 1B.
Yeah, I actually liked Endgame a lot compared to
the new
Countdown.
stuff. Ooh, really?
But
over Countdown?
Not over, but
Okay.
as far as getting back to being heavy again and stuff like that,
Definitely.
But Rust in Peace was, for me, the top that they ever achieved, and I was really waiting for them to just go one level up, and they went one level down.
Mm-hmm.
And Pantera just blew my mind, being something new, and I was like, that's the future, that's the way forward. and I'm going with Pantera, obviously. But I've never stopped listening to that album, and I put Countdown on a shelf somewhere. And I never rebought it from having it on cassette. I've still got the cassette somewhere, but
Really?
you know, they're well now. You know, you can stream whatever you want. So if I want to put it on, pop it on, listen to it, whatever. But I've still got my cassette somewhere. I think I'll break it out someday. I got to find something to play it on. But Pantera.
All
So
right.
what is that? Shut out again.
Not out so far. Yeah, 5-0
far.
so far. We got
Woo!
Steve, myself, and then I have Sydney's vote. So Steve, what do you got?
Oh, well, I'm going to delve into Megadeth first. Tell you the truth, I haven't heard this record in years.
Really?
No, I never go back to it. I'm going to agree with Christian and say Rust in Peace is my Megadeth album. I like Peace Sells a lot. I like the first album the best. So I like
it's
Killing Is My
fusion.
Business is the best. I maybe Rust in Peace close to that, but I do like some of the latter stuff. But I went back and listened to it, of course, because I knew we were doing the show. It's not a horrible record, but I don't know. There's no way in heck. I'm gonna mention the songs: Symphony of Destruction, Countdown to Extinction, High Speed Dirt. I like a lot, maybe because I like dirt track racing. He's not what he's talking about, but I
But shit,
remember.
just the way it starts, though, Steve. Just going with Skin of My Teeth, the way the album starts. Come
Yeah,
on. That
nah,
riff.
that's good, I guess. Yeah, but you can't. There's no way in hell this album's beating Pantera. Not in my book. I'm not a. I got really played out on this Pantera record because I played it way too much, and I had some friends that played it way too much, even to this day, where I totally like put it on the shelf for a long time. I revisited this album a little while ago because we did a little thing on my channel for it too. But it's a new level of confidence and power, and I mean, when they started recording this record, they looked around, they saw what Metallica did, and they saw that like Metallica kind of abandoned their thrash roots. A lot of the other thrash bands also kind of got lighter, and they found it was an opportunity for them to put out something that was really heavy, and they had, to come out with this album, and they did. And I mean, this is like an ultimate, I think, like a perfect metal record. It's also one that you could play at pretty much any kind of a party of a metal scene, and no one's gonna complain. I mean, maybe sometimes, but Mouth for War, Demons Be Driven. I mean, This Love. I mean, you said there wasn't many hits, but there's a lot of strong songs on this record. So it's Pantera for the win for me on this one. I really don't probably ever need to hear Walk again, though, because I've heard it way too many times. But
That's their hit.
it's their hit, and dun, 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 dun. But it is their hit. But that is one that not my favorite song on the album, but there's some great stuff. And like I said, Dimebag's playing and Phil Anselmo, and how this band became so huge. And rest in peace to the brothers that are both gone, and just it's a tragedy that they're not around anymore. But
Totally.
it's Pantera, so it's all up to Pete, I guess, in Sydney. But looks like you might be getting the broom out here.
Yeah, it might be. The shutout continues. All right. So, yeah, I mean, this Pantera album is great. And for me, as is the Megadeth album, I really like this Megadeth album a lot. Yes, it is a little more accessible and commercial, but I don't think it loses any of what makes Megadeth so good. And
Not at all.
there's some fantastic songs on here. I love Skin of My Teeth. Symphony of Destruction is a killer song. Architecture of Aggression is killer. Foreclosure of a Dream is amazing. I don't mind Sweating Bullets too much, but that is probably my least favorite song on the album. It still is okay. Countdown, the title track, is great. Psychotron is amazing. Ashes in Your Mouth. I mean, to me, this is a very, very strong album, and with not a lot of weak moments, I don't think. The Pantera album has some killer songs. I think, you know what? I might like more songs overall on the Megadeth album, but the problem is there are some tracks on this Pantera album that are unbeatable, in my opinion. And sometimes I say it all the time. If you have an album where you may only really love 6 out of the 10 tracks, but you love those tracks so much that it might elevate that album over another one where you actually like more of that album overall. Mouth for War, a new level, doesn't get much better to start off an album than that.
No.
I agree with Steve. I never need to hear Walk Again, ever. I've heard it way too many times, and it was never one of my favorite songs from them, but I get why people love it. Fucking Hostile is great. This Love is terrific. Rise is killer. By Demons Be Driven is one of my favorite Pantera songs. Of all time. Man, is that riff heavy.
You say the title, and we all hear it, and you hear the riff.
Yeah, we use that on the Headbangers Ball for years.
What's that?
Just that riff.
Yep.
I used that riff on the Headbangers Ball for years. They had the little animation of the face with like spikes and stuff, and they would just play the riff from that song.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Amazing. And Hollow is just absolute killer. And I love the production of this album. Dime's guitar sounds cataclysmic,
Yes.
ferocious.
Right?
I mean,
No
I can
question.
sit here and come up with adjectives all day to describe how amazing he sounds on this album. And to me, possibly the best sounding album in their discography. It's up there.
Ooh.
It's up there. If it's not number one, it's up there. It's
I
not.
like the next one.
Yeah, that's pretty ferocious too. That's that album's even more extreme than this one, I think.
Yep.
It's from a, in your face type of thing. So yeah, I mean, to me, these albums are fairly close. They're fairly close. This one, it's funny because I'm thinking about like how our viewers are going to vote on this. And I bet you that we have a lot more votes for Megadeth because it's a little bit more lighter on the
Accessible.
ears, maybe to some a little more musical, whereas this is more kind of in your face, slightly extreme. But I got to give it to this one, to Pantera, because like I said, I think there are a handful of tracks on here that are just too good, even though I may like overall more songs on this one. There's, you can't beat Mouth for War, A New Level, This Love, Fucking Hostile, By Demons Be Driven, and Hollow. Just can't beat them. So that is going to get my vote for today, Pantera. And Sydney is going to break the.
No.
I knew it.
Ooh.
Sydney's
I
going
knew
to
it.
break the sweep.
No way.
And she voted for Megadeth. She said
I
it was
knew it.
very close.
Wow.
She said it was very close.
Ooh.
Ah,
I knew it.
That's the second time that's happened last call, because we had that when Butch was not a couple weeks ago. I think Butch, you were the only one who voted for Raven a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
damn.
So
Oh well.
Terror record turns you on from the second you listen.
And you know what?
Speed driven.
The name that has to be mentioned, though, if we're doing this, you have to mention the band Exorder.
Yes,
Oh,
because-
of course.
Because if it wasn't for what they had already been doing, I don't know if we would have had Pantera the way that Pantera ended up being. I mean, honestly, for years and years and years, I didn't want to go back and listen to the Cowboys from Hell Pantera, just because you knew it wasn't the same. I'd never even heard it at that time.
you're good
But I
for
knew
what
it
they are,
wasn't
though.
the
You
same, so
could.
I didn't want to go back. And you
Yeah.
go back, it's great. It's not 90s Pantera,
No.
but it's nothing wrong with it at all.
Would you say
Power
that- was there ever-
Exorder was New Orleans too, right?
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their
and,
last
I
record, they
mean-
went like 25 years without an album.
The
Their
last record's
album was
killer.
Kick ass.
Oh, really?
Pantera sounds like Exorder. Exorder does not sound like Pantera.
No.
Yeah,
Right.
Exorder was first. Phil hung out with them, and when he joined Pantera, he was very influenced by Exorder. It's all
Yep.
that's all proven. So
And
if
you
you've
know,
never listened to Exorder and you like Pantera, go listen to
yeah.
them.
the thing is though, like Spaghetti just said, the new record, the last record they did was in my top 5 of that year, whatever year that was.
Mine too. It was way
It's
up there.
tremendous. But you go back to the early stuff, it's the production that kills it.
Mm.
The production sounds like, they were kids and had $100 to go to the studio with a 4-track and
They
record it.
Probably.
Right.
The,
And they
the
didn't have
second
dime.
record, the Law, sounds better than the first record.
It's probably
Slaughter
still
and
all
Back.
they have,
Right.
sadly.
But
They're
Nothing
both
wrong
great
with that.
records.
the biggest difference is that Ex Hoarder didn't have dime.
Right. Yeah. True.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point. And yeah, that to this day, that's still debated about how much of an influence Exorder was on Pantera.
Huge.
But yeah, it's true. I mean, look at the power metal record, which I love.
Yeah.
To me, that's Pantera redoing Defenders of the Faith. So
And,
I'm
it-
sure
and it's
that,
really,
you know,
it's one of the few bands that had albums that got this popular that never officially released those records. And it looks like they never will.
The Pantera.
Yeah, Pantera.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, those are never coming out again.
I mean, it's just like sweep those babies under the rug. We don't want anybody to know we ever did this, you know?
Well, especially, I mean, you know what though? Honestly, I think if Vinny and Dime were around, I think they probably would have at some point.
Maybe, yeah.
But with them both gone, I can't foresee that ever
No,
happening.
yeah,
No.
that's the thing with them both being gone now. And I interviewed, gosh, in like 2000, before about 6 months before Dimebag was shot. I interviewed both Dimebag and Phil and asked them about the old records, and they were both kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I think Phil was a little, you know, obviously because he's only on one, he's only on
Yeah.
power metal, which
Yep.
isn't as embarrassing. But I mean, my guess was that once Pantera made some money, their record company bought the rights to that stuff, and it's just sitting somewhere.
Hush money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch 'em. Yep.
Never mind.
Well, you
I
know
mean,
what though?
I mean, it exists. If you really want to hear it, you can find it now.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
out.
Yeah, you can buy the bootlegs anywhere or just stream
Yeah.
it, you know.
It's on Spotify and YouTube and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
It's all out there. But you know what though, Chris? It's funny you say it like that because I would think just the opposite. If the record labels bought it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
both of those guys are gone.
Yeah,
Make the
no,
money.
that's
There
true.
you go.
Well, maybe. it
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
you know,
opposite. Maybe
they
Vinny
sell a
and
ton of it.
Dime.
How about
their money
record
together and-
a record store day special release and some special colored vinyl? You know they're gonna
Yeah,
sell
vinyl.
tons of it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's up to
Maybe
Rita
Vinny
now.
and Dime bought it back, and they're like, they're just, you know, it's
Yeah.
in their estates now. Because yeah, with them gone, I can't see it ever coming out.
Yeah.
You know, at this point too, why tarnish the legacy? There was somebody was debating, I think, on Butch's page, and it's never coming out now.
Oh, yeah,
You
they
know,
were.
These guys are long.
Well, there's some
gone.
people that like those albums better.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. There
Really?
are. Yeah,
If
there are.
Rita-
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got ins, right, Butch?
Well,
I think Tony Dio likes some of the really likes some of that stuff. And
it's
I like
good.
power metal.
I have it
But
all.
some
I
pussy
just,
time,
like I
it's
said,
Yeah.
hysterical.
I think it would take if Rita is hurting for money, or people get to her and say, hey, put it out, then you might have a chance.
yeah,
Because it's a legacy that hasn't been really touched. So-
it's one of the very few bands that are this popular that have had something like that. It's a very rare appearance, a rare
And none of
occurrence.
the
rather.
material is embarrassing at all.
No,
No, it's not terrible at all.
it's just it looks embarrassing when you look at the cover and how
Oh,
they were
yeah, the
dressing.
artwork, everything is-
But it was the time.
Yeah. And it's not, it's often been tagged with this whole, oh, it's glam metal. It really isn't.
No.
It really isn't.
No,
I don't know whoever started that. Maybe
you know what?
But when they were first getting big, you really didn't want to be having
No.
any picture of you with hairspray, teased, freaking.
True.
You
yeah,
know,
their imagery was like tough guy, badass.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
probably
is
didn't
it
want
on
anything
this
to do
record
with
where
their
he's still
spiked
called
hair
Diamond
and bushy
Darrell?
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
he
Diamond.
Is this the
Yeah.
last one?
Yeah.
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 You know what? I almost changed my stance now after just saying all this. I wouldn't be surprised if Rita does put it out at some point. There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Diamond indeed.
Yep. Because it's like Steve was saying, it's one of the only bands that I can think of off the top of my head, at least, that has a history of several albums before they even got. You figure Cowboys from Hell is like their fifth record,
Yeah.
fourth or fifth,
And how many people think it's their first?
right? So you
Yeah.
have a history.
98% of the, of the
Right.
98% of the planet.
You got 4 or 5 records that exist that the masses haven't heard. So hope maybe Rita will say, you know what, this was my guy. I want to put it out there so everyone can get it if they want to hear Dime. If you want more Dime, here's more Dime. It's been sitting here. So maybe
Yeah, I
it
mean,
will.
look at guys like Hendrix. How much they dig stuff up that he
Isn't Tupac
record store
still
day
coming out
next
with
year.
records?
There's a new Hendrix album.
What's that, Chris?
Exactly.
Isn't Tupac still coming out with records?
Oh yeah, probably.
Him and Biggie.
Yeah.
I like Biggie. I like me some Biggie.
Shut up.
Wow.
Biggie, bitch.
He told you to shut up.
Ferguson, it says me. Listen, you know what? He knows who the boss is when the camera goes off. That's all. that matters.
Okay,
That's why I get my shots in when the camera's on.
let's
Gotta take
get
advantage
ready to
somehow, right?
rumble.
All right, so we got a runaway win for Pantera among the staff here. So what do we say? 7-1, 7-1 in favor of Vulgar Display of Power is our winner. But of course, we want to hear from all of you. So down in the comments below, pick your favorite Pantera, or is it Megadeth? Countdown to Extinction versus Vulgar Display of Power. As we revisit 1992, a little album war for you today. Stay tuned next week. We're going to give away our topic right now. So this is a couple of you viewers had suggested this, and Chris Allo also did as well, right around the same time. So we're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite bands, each one of us, and we're going to pick one song that we dislike the most from that particular band. So the song we hate the most from the bands we love the most, right? So one song for each band. That's coming up next Monday. So stay tuned for that. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here all together, all the damn time on YouTube for Spaghetti Lee, Butch Jones, Chris Allo, Lynn Versace, Chris Canzaneri, and Steve Keeler. I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody. Have a good rest of the week. See you tomorrow.
Happy St. Patrick's
I
Day.
mean the Prague scene.
Oh,
That's right.
yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Take care.